One of the most disturbing and claustrophobic true stories in modern mystery is the disappearance of Brian Shaffer, a case that seems to defy both logic and surveillance. To this day, it remains one of the most baffling unsolved disappearances in the United States. In March 2006, Brian Shaffer was a 27-year-old medical student studying at Ohio State University. By all accounts, he was intelligent, outgoing, and had a promising future ahead of him. Spring break had just begun, and Brian decided to go out with friends to celebrate. That night, they headed to a popular college bar called the Ugly Tuna Saloona, located in Columbus, Ohio. The bar was lively and crowded, packed with students enjoying the start of their vacation. But what happened that night would turn an ordinary celebration into one of the most puzzling mysteries ever caught on camera. The layout of the bar, the Ugly Tuna Saloona, was located on the second floor of a commercial building. To reach the bar, customers had to ride a single set of escalators from the ground floor. At the top of the escalators was the entrance to the bar itself. Importantly, the entire area was monitored by security cameras. Anyone entering or leaving the bar would almost certainly be captured on video. There was also a service exit, but it led into a construction site filled with obstacles and debris. Navigating it in the dark would have been extremely difficult, and even that area had cameras covering the entrances. In other words, anyone leaving the bar should have been seen. The last known footage. At around 1:15 a.m., security cameras captured Brian standing outside the bar's entrance. He was talking casually with two women he had just met. Nothing about the footage appears unusual. Brian looks relaxed and normal, laughing and chatting like everyone else, enjoying the night. After a short conversation, the women walk away. Brian then turns, walks back through the entrance doors, and disappears inside the bar. This moment would become the last confirmed sighting of Brian Shaffer. About 45 minutes later, the bar closed at 2 a.m. Brian's friends waited outside near the escalators for him to come down with the rest of the crowd, but he never appeared. At first they assumed Brian must have left earlier without telling them or gone somewhere else after meeting someone at the bar. It didn't seem like a big deal at the time, but the next morning something strange happened. Brian never returned home. Even more alarming, he missed a scheduled flight he had planned to take with his girlfriend later that day. This was completely out of character. His family and friends immediately knew something was wrong. Police soon began reviewing the building's security footage. What they found stunned investigators. The cameras clearly showed Brian entering the bar area that night. But when detectives examined hours of footage from every camera covering the exits, they noticed something impossible. Brian was never seen leaving. Investigators painstakingly watched every minute of video from the building that night. They tracked every single person who entered and exited the bar. Everyone was accounted for, everyone except Brian. According to the cameras, Brian Shaffer walked into the bar and simply vanished. The investigation police launched an extensive search of the entire building. They checked bathrooms, storage areas, maintenance rooms, and crawl spaces. They even searched the nearby construction site connected to the service exit. Bloodhounds were brought in to track his scent, but they found nothing. No evidence of a struggle, no personal belongings, no sign that Brian had ever left the building. Even stranger, after that night, his phone, credit cards, and bank accounts were never used again. It was as if he had simply disappeared from existence. Why this case is so chilling. The Brian Shaffer case is often described as a real-life locked room mystery, the kind normally found in detective novels. A man enters a location with limited exits and heavy surveillance, yet somehow he is never seen leaving. Over the years, many theories have emerged. Some believe Brian may have found an undocumented exit or slipped past cameras during a blind spot. Others speculate about foul play, suggesting he may have been taken out of the building in a way that avoided detection. And some people propose even stranger possibilities, but none of these explanations have ever been proven. The unanswered question. More than 15 years later, the mystery remains unsolved. No body has ever been found, no suspect has ever been identified, and no definitive explanation has ever emerged, which leaves one haunting question that still puzzles investigators and true crime fans alike. How does a person walk into a crowded bar with security cameras everywhere and then simply cease to exist?